What's good and what up? It's your brother Sam, and here at Viral Hip Hop News. Do me a favor, fans, before we get started with the content, y'all know what to do. Go up top and hit that like button. Alright, so R. Kelly turned himself into authorities Friday evening. He was indicted on 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse against 4 victims, 3 of whom would have been underage at the time of the alleged crimes. We've been hearing this story for well over a year now. Well over 2 decades now, if you've really been paying attention with this situation involving R. Kelly. But within the last year or so, it's really been turned up. The heat's been hot. We've seen the Lifetime series, and now he turns himself in on a $1 million bond. Now, Kelly's bond was set at $250,000 for each of the alleged victims. In the case, to leave police custody, he is required to pay 10% of the total, or $100,000, which does not seem like it's much, given the fact that he's one of the greatest R&B singers of all times, a legend. You would think that would be nothing for him to get out of jail, to make sure he sat at home before his trial was set and his fate was set. Still sits in jail right now, sits in jail as of Sunday evening, and it looks like he'll be in jail for a couple more days. His lawyer, Steve Greenberg, had a press conference on Saturday afternoon after the original arraignment, speaking on Kelly, speaking on a case, and speaking on why he may be in jail a little longer than expected. It's quite sad. Let's listen to what his attorney has to say, and I'll come back on the back end with my 1-2. Without further ado, Steve Greenberg, let's go.
Afternoon, everybody. What a lovely way to spend a Saturday afternoon, right? So we're very happy with the bond that the judge set. I think it's fair and reasonable given the allegations. We hope that Mr. Kelly's able to get the money together and post bond sometime today or over the weekend, and he'll be released. We're going to see the chief judge on Monday. For those of you who are from out of town, the way cases work here is you go to bond court, then the case is assigned to the chief judge, which is actually the room just over there, and he then assigns the case to a trial court room upstairs in this building in our courthouse, which was actually built for Al Capone when he was charged years ago. In any event, so we'll get our judge on Monday. After we get assigned to a judge, we'll get what they call discovery, copies of police reports, video if it exists, lab reports, and so forth. Might happen Monday. Sometimes it takes a little while to get that stuff. Sometimes it takes a long time to get that information. And then we'll be in a better position to evaluate the evidence. Right now he's presumed innocent. We haven't seen any reason to believe that these allegations are credible. I heard about sort of the narrative of them for the first time today, the same time all of you did. And I can tell you that in listening to it, there certainly are problems with the cases. One lady coming forward, decade plus later, claiming she had non-consensual sex. No outcry, nothing like that, and the things we look for in these cases. But we'll wait and see what the evidence is. We'll evaluate the evidence. We're putting together a team of attorneys to defend him. One of them is camera shy, Steve Fine. He's in the back over there. And we'll start fighting the charges.
Steve, do you have any reason to believe that he will not be able to come up with $1,000?
When I first met Mr. Kelly, it was because there have been problems. This is someone who should be wealthy at this stage of his career. And through mismanagement and through people hangers on and bad contracts and bad deals and bad leases like he had in his studio, he really doesn't have any money at this point. I don't even think he owns the rights to I Believe I Could Fly.
So you think that he'll be able to come up with the money for bond?
Yes, I think he'll be able to come up with the money for bond. It's Saturday, it's a little bit difficult. You've got to get a bank, you've got to get $100,000, but hopefully he gets out today. Some people are working on that now. We don't have, for the out-of-town media, you're one of, for the out-of-town media, we don't have bail bondsmen in Illinois. In Illinois, they got rid of bail bondsmen back in the 60s. Everyone can guess why they did that. So here, a bond is set, so the judge set bond at $1 million, and he knows when he sets that Mr. Kelly has to post 10% of that amount. So essentially it's a $100,000 bond, which is exceedingly reasonable given these allegations.
So you're saying despite our Kelly's fame, he doesn't have $100,000 sitting around in the bank somewhere.
He's trying to get it together. He doesn't have it sitting in the bank, sitting in a shoebox, sitting anywhere. No.
All right, so before I went off, I said that this situation was sad. Let me clear that up. The fact that he's sitting behind bars for the acts that he committed or allegedly commit right now, that's not the sad part. What you do in the dark shall come to light. We've always said that. And it looks like a lot of R. Kelly's darkness is beginning to finally come to light. This is the sad part about this. When you look at a singer, when you look at a superstar in R. Kelly, one of the greatest R&B singers who ever lived, and you have to hear from his attorney that he doesn't have any money, that he's broke. That's pitiful. That's sad. And that goes to show the enablers that he had around him, the people that he had around him were terrible. They allowed him to do these disgusting things while getting paid. And now that it's time for them to show their loyalty, they're nowhere around. Now, R. Kelly owes a ton of money. I'll read a little bit of what's going on with his financial situation. This is courtesy of CNN. According to the court documents reviewed by CNN, R. Kelly owed more than $169,000 in unpaid child support to his ex-wife as of February 6th. The court ordered Kelly to make a monthly payment of $20,833 on January 8th, 2009, but Kelly failed to show up to that hearing per court documents. Now, to avoid being held in contempt of court, a judge ordered him to pay $161,663 by March 6th. Greenberg told CNN his client does not have to pay the child support before getting out. The state is trying to make him do that, or they were, Greenberg said, but the judge said no. He also faces an eviction from his studio. Kelly is at risk of eviction at his Chicago studio last month because he owes more than $166,000 in unpaid rent. Court documents show a judge signed an eviction order in January. The documents show R. Kelly needed to move out on or before January 21st, but Kelly was still at the studio minutes before he turned himself into police Friday night. Now, the eviction process began in July of 2018 when the landlord Midwest Commercial Funding LLC said that Kelly defaulted on the lease by initially failing to pay more than $79,000 in rent. The back rent continued to pile up, and the judge finally signed off on the eviction. Now, in January, a judge ordered the second floor of Kelly's studio, which is being used as a bedroom, to be closed because it posed as a fire hazard. The judge also limited Kelly's use of the building between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., a decision Greenberg slammed in a statement on Twitter, in which he compared Kelly to Ludwig van Beethoven, Sigmund Freud, and Winston Churchill, whom he said worked and wrote all night. Now, we all know R. Kelly is a musical genius, a musical legend, but this shit gets more and more sad the more news we hear. Now, God and I, we spoke about this in great detail on the UNCENSORED podcast live on Friday evening, as well as throughout this whole year. Ever since Jocelyn Savage seemed to come out and her parents came out with the whole sex cult situation involving R. Kelly, God and I paid close attention to this. Obviously, we knew about Aaliyah early on, back when we were kids, and we heard about and saw the sex tape back in 2008, 2009, and we seen that he was released from all of those charges. And now that these new ones come up, they're being, 2 or 3 tapes now, being with underage females. Whether you think he did it or not, I don't feel as though R. Kelly is going to get out of this situation free. I don't see him finding himself being innocent or a jury finding him innocent in this situation. I think that this may be, unfortunately, if you are an R. Kelly fan and think that he's being railroaded right now, the end of R. Kelly. Now, I'll say this. A lot of people try to jump to the conclusion or the speculation that they're trying to tear this man down. They're trying to tear this man down. And in a lot of situations, I would wholeheartedly agree with you, but I have to be partial and I have to be objective in this situation and ask you, what would be the reasoning in tearing R. Kelly down? Now, the one reason I could see in them realistically tearing R. Kelly down is if he owned his masters. If he owned the rights to I Believe I Can Fly, if he owned the rights to World's Greatest, if he owned the rights to all of his albums, the magic and just the genius that he created, then I could see a situation where you could see, quote unquote, the higher ups possibly setting him up in order to gain revenue and to gain that money from the pieces that he owned. We've seen it happen to Prince. We've seen it happen to Michael Jackson. The shit happens. We can't deny it. But if he does not own the rights to his music, the only thing that R. Kelly has to his genius, I don't see them trying to set him up. I see this being a situation where, like I said, a lot of his darkness is beginning to come to light, and he's going to have to meet himself in the face and just go ahead and own up to the egregious acts that it seems as though he committed right now. Now, it's all alleged at this point. We have to wait for everything to come out, but we've seen this paper trail for years and years now with Aaliyah, with the videotape, with the numbers of women that came out. I think this is a situation where R. Kelly's going to find himself in prison. Y'all leave a comment in the comment section right now. Let me know what y'all think about this situation. First off, him not having enough fucking money, the $100,000 to get out. R. Kelly, not having enough money to get out. Also, let me know in the description box, do you think R. Kelly is a man right now being set up, or do you think he's 100% guilty of these acts? I need everyone to participate in this discussion right now. I appreciate everyone that stuck around for my commentary. Leave a comment in the comment section. Go down to the description box. You'll see links to my Twitter and IG, which you also see up top. And also all the platforms that myself, Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, runs. Push Up with Sam Ant, Sam Ant Uncut. And of course, I'm the co-host of the most underrated, most dangerous podcast on YouTube to date, the Uncensored True Podcast from my brother, Oh God, over at Hip Hop News Uncensored. We drop every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and we go live every Friday evening. Always love the support. Make sure y'all stick around. Always trying to keep it raw, real, and uncut here at Viral Hip Hop News. Until next time, until next story, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I'm out of here, man. Peace.